Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode number 1 of the Knothole Gang franchise. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a step away, branching out a little bit from the podcast, entering into the MLB The Show atmosphere. I thought this year was an absolute perfect year to be including MLB The Show and the Knothole Gang all in one. As you guys know, if you guys are familiar with our channel, the Knothole Gang is always peeking over the fence, looking at the best news, the greatest and latest baseball events that are going on, and really just a joyous action for all of us to share the sport that we all know and we all love, and that is baseball, America's pastime. And that is what this franchise, this series is all set to be. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Knothole Gang. I hope you guys all enjoy. I hope you guys end up looking over the fence with us into some amazing baseball moments as we are going to be having in the 2024 Knothole Gang franchise. So with that being said, a couple things that are worth noting. This is going to be a fantasy draft. So with that being said, there are going to be players that obviously are going to not be on the teams that you guys are usually familiar with, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with the franchise format. Also, we did replace the Cleveland Guardians. Now, if you are a Guardians fan, I do apologize. There's no bias. We all love all 30 of the baseball teams, but somebody had to go, and in my opinion, the Guardians were kind of that middle-of-the-road pack as far as budget goes and a bunch of other things. Do not pay attention to the rankings as you see in front of you right now. Those rankings are prior to what the Cleveland Guardians were. That does not reflect on what our fantasy team is going to be. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick little note here. We're going to be talking about some of the settings, all those type of things. We are going to be handling absolutely everything that is going to be going on in this franchise from top to bottom, whether this be the set lineups, whether this be scouting, the 40-man roster, just moving around on waivers, handling contracts. We're going to be doing it all. I'm going to be doing my best to break it down as fundamentally possible as I can. My goal is to make this a experience where even if you aren't the biggest fan of baseball, you can still somehow find a way to love this franchise, love this series, and that is what we are going to set forward to try to do this season. A lot of things are going to be talking. We are going to be breaking down a whole bunch of fun stuff, so that is going to definitely be planned, and do stay tuned. If you guys do not want this breakdown portion of the video, I will put some type of timestamp somewhere where you guys, if you not really interested in learning the in-depths of the team, this is going to be a very in-depth franchise. As my franchises have been in the past, we have uploaded on our primary channel, The Tales of Tanner, and this one is going to be uploaded on the Knothole Gang podcast as well. So you guys are going to be getting this series on 2 channels. They are both going to be running this exact same series. So if you guys do see episode 1 come out on one channel and you see episode 1 come out on the other channel, don't worry, you don't have to watch both of them. They are the exact same videos. I just want to clarify that. I'm only doing that because I do want to be able to promote these on both of my channels. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to gain extra views or anything like that. I am just trying to cater to both audiences. I want to have these on my channel because, as I have always in the past, uploaded franchise videos whenever the MLBs come out, and with this being said, the Knothole Gang just kicking off, I want to have a fun franchise with them, so that is the reason behind it. And as we get into some things, we are going to talk about some fun stuff that is going on. So unfortunately for us, as you're looking in front of you, round 1 did not really go in our favor. We're not going to be breaking down every single round, don't worry. That is not what we are going to be doing here. We are totally just going to be talking about how this is where we are placed in the draft. So if you guys are wondering why maybe I didn't draft this guy round 1, so and so and so, this might explain it a little bit better. A lot of them big guys were already gone before I even had the chance to get to them. So that is just something I wanted to kind of throw out there for everyone. I didn't want anyone getting all excited and worried, saying like, oh my God, he's not doing this and he's not doing this. It is okay. Do not worry. All is going to be okay. We are not going to panic. Round 1, not a big deal. As we dive into it, though, I am going to talk about this. as we drafted our team, here we are. Now, before you laugh, before you giggle, bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a team to be trifled with. I really do think I drafted a pretty decent team. Now, talking about it, yes, it is saying we are ranked 28th. Is our pitching 30th? Probably. Maybe. I think a lot of that has to factor to our bullpen. We'll talk about it in a second. But we do have a lot of power. The defense is good. The contacts, it's okay. But we're going to talk about it. It is also spring training. So given, as we will in actual baseball, we try not to reflect the stats of our spring training characters, our players, all of that jazz. We try not to put it into our heads that is how those guys are going to perform come opening day. The first game that you guys are going to see today is a quick spring training game. I'm not going to show you the entire thing, but we are going to break it down a little bit. We are going to do our broadcast commentation over it because I'm going to be honest, I know you guys are probably going to get tired of them. I'm already tired of them. The announcers in this game get a little dull every once in a while. Hearing that same voice every single game gets a little boring. So hopefully my voice can present itself a little bit better. Maybe not, but we're going to try our best with it. With that being said, though, first impressions, that is what the team is looking like right now. So we are going to break down ranking and roster by roster, where we are at, what things are looking like, and jumping right into it. Right now, the starting pitching, as you're going to see in front of you, the starting pitching is a little bit all over the place, okay? We do have Max Fried, which is a good thing. Max Fried is definitely a good ball player. He has a good arm. A lot of stuff coming with Max Fried. He's only 30 years old. We're going to talk about some other stuff with Fried. We're going to break these guys down a little bit more in depth than what we are. This is just that first glance. Take a quick peek. Look at the guys. Maybe you like them. Maybe you don't. That's okay. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this team. I'm excited to hear everyone's opinions. Max Fried is going to be the ace of the team, followed by Michael Lorenzen and Tony Gonsolin. I'm going to cut off right there because for me, that is my three. Those are the three guys that I am kind of set on having on this team, at least for now. Those are guys that I don't have plans of trading. I don't have plans of developing. I don't have any of that. Now, we get into the fun part of this team. Right off the bat, before you guys know anything else about this team, before you know any position players, we do have a pitching problem. It's a good pitching problem, but it's also a bad pitching problem. We got a lot of guys that are those 4 or 5 guys that are borderline rotation pieces, and then we got some guys that are kind of coming up in the system, young guys looking real potential. You know, they got a lot of potential. They got a lot of fun stuff going for them. So those guys are going to be, we're going to talk about them, Paul Skeens, Taj Bradley, those two looking very, very promising. Obviously, you guys know the Pittsburgh Pirates last year recently drafted Paul Skeens, number 1 round overall. And Taj Bradley, he came recently from the Tampa Bay Rays. Some of you guys might have seen him last year. He made some debuts, tried to kind of shine some light. Things didn't go the greatest for Bradley, but hopefully, the highly touted prospect can have a high ceiling for us. Now, above them is Griffin Canning and Graham Ashcraft, and then right below them is Marco Gonzalez. I'm going to talk about those guys for a second because, truth be told, depending on how spring goes, we could see a rotation of Fried, Lorenzen, Gonsolin, Canning, Ashcraft. Could be that. Marco Gonzalez could easily slide in there too. However, I do not want to knock that Taj Bradley, Paul Skeens easily could make that opening day rotation. It is definitely a potential, something worth mentioning. As we jump into things a little bit deeper, we move into the bullpen. Now, the bullpen, it's messy, it's ugly, it's gross, it is not fun to talk about. And now you can kind of see where those rankings went. Where did we go wrong? What is going on with this team? Some of you might be questioning, why did you keep this team? What is the potential that this team could have? Yes, relief is not good. Jorge Lopez, highest reliever outside of our closer, who we will jump into in just a second. Jesse Chavez, he's 40 years old. He might be coughing up dust before he's going to be coughing up strikeouts. So hopefully we can see Jesse Chavez shine. Jose Quijada, Josh Taylor, Durbin Feltman, Ben Joyce is worth noting. A nice hard thrower. He does have outlier. 102-mile-an-hour fastballs are going to be coming from Ben Joyce. He is a B potential at only 23 years old, so there is some silver linings within this. Luis Patino, kind of in that same area. 24, C potential, 62 overall. Has those signs that maybe could be something. Again, don't want to dive into these guys too much, but there is a lot to maybe look forward to as this team shines forward. Moving on. Liam Hendriks is the closer for the team. Yep, that's right. We got the loud-speaking Aussie on the team. He just kind of fit that Knothole vibe. I know, again, another 35-year-old, but Liam Hendriks is really good. He has a really strong arm. He's had really, really good stuff in the past, and if I'm being honest, I really wanted to use him. Liam Hendriks, everyone, that's kind of something that's worth noting. The next two guys, not really something that's like the biggest deal ever, but that is what it is. As we move into the next thing, Luis Campusano is going to be the starting catcher for this team. The 25-year-old, when he played for San Diego, had some really good signs of being a potentially very good hitting catcher. We're going to see if that translates in MLB The Show over on our Knothole gang. Also, behind the dish for him is going to be catching is Jose Trevino. We love the discipline that he can put himself behind the plate. The guy has a great catching tool. Trevino definitely is a good catcher. As far as his offense, neither here nor there. We're not going to say anything too much about it, but I like where things are. But with that being said, those are the catchers for the 2024 season. We are going to talk about some other things in the future here, so stay tuned. But with that being said, that is the catchers. Moving on to first base. And taking a look at things at first base, as promised, not a whole lot to talk about, but a couple guys that are gonna be a little fun. We do have first baseman Joey Gallo. I know, I can already feel the comments, strikeout king, all that. I know, but listen, there wasn't a lot of options. Joey Gallo does potentially have that pop to be a guy, maybe he could be a 30, 40 home run hitter if he can make that contact. Now, are we going to make that contact? Probably not. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It is also worth noting, guys like Joey Gallo are very difficult to use on Legend difficulty. That is what we are going to be playing this franchise on. I try to keep things as immersive as possible. I want to keep things as difficult as possible as well. I think it helps with the immersion. I'm not here to try to win every single game. I'm here to try to provide the most realistic aspect I can with the game. And if you guys do enjoy that, thank you guys. If not, well, I do apologize. But moving on, not a whole lot to talk about at first base, but second base got a couple guys that we can talk about. One guy in particular that we are going to break down. The other guys, we're not really going to break down the minors just yet. We will get into those guys at some point in the future. But to speed things along, the second baseman for the season is going to be 24-year-old Ezekiel Duran. Now, you guys might be seeing a little bit of a kind of a trend here within age and how players are. So you are going to see a lot of guys that are around that 23, 24 age mark, and then we got guys that are in that like 30 age mark. I did do that a little intentionally, right? A lot of those guys that are at their age 30 seasons are approaching arbitration or are at arbitration. So it's good for us to get like a year of control on those guys, hold on to them, and we can decide how this team performs this year, because we really are a coin toss team, as I would call it. We have some guys that do have to perform in order for this team to truly be the team that we believe it can be. With mentioning guys already like Paul Skeens and Ezekiel Duran, those are definitely guys that we really need to see that potential shine. Joey Gallo, another one. We don't want to see Joey Gallo striking out 200 times every season for us. We'd like him to, maybe get it to 199. That'd be great. But who knows what that's going to bring. Second base does look promising. Ezekiel Duran, highly talented player, super strong arm, can play a lot of different positions. He's going to be really, really important for this franchise in the future. And talking about depth now, third base is definitely full of a lot of different guys, right? So breaking into it, we're going to talk about one guy real quick. Sal Stewart could be a guy, 64 overall, 20. He's a B potential. He might be able to climb the ranks, but he's got some guys in front of him. Nick Senzel obviously was a guy that Cincinnati Reds at one point had. They moved on from him, sent him to Washington, and now we're going to see what Senzel can do for us as He is going to maybe be, I'm going to say Senzel is not going to be the starting third baseman, okay? I think he's going to have more potential in a utility role as we try to climb him. You're going to see he rakes lefties, an 88 contact, 70 power. It has a lot of potential to be a guy that could be a good platoon bat right alongside Emmanuel Rivera. Emmanuel Rivera doesn't have the best bat, but he does have better defensive stats than what Senzel does. Unfortunately, this is just a screenshot, so I can't just scroll down and show you what Rivera is. But again, we are going to be breaking these guys down. I know I mentioned before that this game or this episode was going to have some gameplay behind it. I am kind of now deciding as we're recording this, things are getting a little bit later. I don't think we're going to do that right now. I think we are going to talk about this team because I want it to be important to talk about this team. So this episode is going to be more of that prologue episode, if you will. So do bear with me. We are going to be playing some video games. We are going to be having some great gameplay, but just not at this moment. I want to make sure we cover the depth. I want to make sure you guys get the meat and potatoes of this franchise, and that is important into this piece. Moving things right along, ladies and gentlemen, we got the shortstops of the team. Now, the shortstops of this team is going to be fun. You guys already know, if you are big baseball fans, the hype that has been behind Jackson Holliday, the son of Matt Holliday. For those that may not know, Matt Holliday, very good player for the St. Louis Cardinals, Colorado Rockies, etc., etc., etc. Very decorated player. Jackson Holliday is his son. Could have a very similar career path to his father. Who knows? Maybe the success is going to be there. Maybe it's not. But we're not just putting all our eggs in one basket with Jackson Holliday. We're going to break that down a little bit. We do have someone in AA that is a 21-year-old, 60 overall. We're not going to really hype him up too much right now, but he is a guy that, maybe throughout the years will develop. One guy I do want to talk about, Gold Glove winner, Brandon Crawford, is going to be the backup shortstop / platoon type guy for Jackson Holliday. Now, Holliday, again, he's only 20 years old. I don't want to really hinder or disrupt any potential growth this guy could have, right? Holliday is a guy that is arguably our number one, if not our number two prospect. We have Paul Skeens. I don't know which one's really ranking higher right now in MLB. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Both of them very, very, very good, very high ceilings. Brandon Crawford is definitely there, though, to kind of take some of that slack away from him because, as we know, baseball, it gets taxing. It gets very tiring. You guys are going to see throughout the season, we're going to be trying to move some guys around, allow some guys to have some openings for some other players. We are going to be doing some trades, things of that nature. We'll be getting into those very shortly, but that is something that I did want to break down. As we talk about something else, we are going to be now breaking into the left fielders of the group. And as I want to talk about it, the left fielders, we got a couple of them. A lot of them, actually. Some of them better than not, but some of them also have had their moments in the MLB. We're talking, firstly, about Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, now going to be a Knothole gang member. Gonna be nice. 77 overall, B potential 28-year-old, definitely has that opportunity, that chance to really solidify himself as a solid left fielder for this team. Not that he isn't yet, but he has a couple guys to compete with to really prove himself this year. Eddie Rosario already has shown in the future or in the past that he can do well. He can be a power hitter. He can be a guy that can hit for average. Eddie Rosario has done things that a lot of people have enjoyed. He's been on a couple different teams. He is now going to be on our team. Following him is going to be recently added to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Edward Olivares is most likely going to be that fourth outfielder for us as the season moves forward. I don't really want to take things too serious with him, but he is 28. He's a 70 overall. Who knows? He might get some good reps. Might be one of those sleeper guys on the team that we don't really expect. Now, talking about why this team. I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, what did you do with all your draft picks? Why is there no stars here? Why are there no absolute beasts on this team? Don't worry. We were getting there. We were saving it. we're going to be talking about one of the two beasts of outfielders that we have on this team, Luis Robert Jr., Luis Robert Jr., depends on how you want to pronounce it. I'm not going to judge you either way. Hakuna Patata, the tomato, potato, all that type of fun, happy stuff. Luis Robert Jr., 26 years old, 89 overall, A potential. Dude hit 38 home runs, I believe 38, 39 home runs, something like that last year. He was absolutely insane, really, for the White Sox, and really wasn't talked about a whole lot, even though he almost hit like 40 home runs last year. I think his average was around like a 268, so it wasn't like he was hitting the craziest average, but Luis Robert is definitely going to be a key piece of this team, a superstar of a player, well, a potential superstar. We do need to see more of that. I don't want to just judge it off of 1 year because we have seen some rough years in the past from Robert, but he is looking forward, and we are looking excited. As we talk about excitement, let's talk about a guy that was destroying it in the postseason last year. That is Adolis Garcia. My goodness. If you guys remember, this guy is all power. He's got that attitude. He's got that swagger. He's going to be our right fielder. We got him for 2 years, $7 million, very affordable contract. Also, we're going to be breaking down, talking about some of those contracts, some of the more friendly ones that I do like. We do have some contracts that I don't like as well, and we're going to be talking about those at some point, maybe not today, but Adolis Garcia is an absolute star and somebody we are very excited to have on this team. Now, breaking into it, talking about the budgets, talking about how much money we do have entering the season. I do have this kind of shifted over to the 2025 season because I just want to show you guys that we only have currently 5 players signed into that 2025 season. So yes, we do have all of the guys that we were talking about right now on the 2024 season, but if the season was to end right now and we had to start up, we only got 5 of those guys: Tony Gonsolin, Liam Hendricks, Adolis Garcia, Luis Robert Jr., and Marco Gonzalez. It's also worth noting that there you can see some of those contracts. I did want to show off Luis Robert Jr.'s. He has a very friendly contract, I think, at least. And the one that I do want to notice and kind of mention is that top one you will see there, Marco Gonzalez, $6.9 million, nice, but $8 million, not so nice, because, well, that's a bit expensive for a guy that's a 70 overall, 32, and is kind of more on his way down than he is on his way up, if you know what I mean. But who knows? Maybe he will be a guy that can kind of shine in that dark cloud that might be over him. He really hasn't been that guy that I think is like worth that type of price. He's not a guy that's going to be striking out a whole lot of people. He does induce a lot of ground balls. He is a good ground ball pitcher, but that only happens every once in a while where, you get a guy that can kind of be 70 overall, 32 age, and has been declining to really have one of those outlier years and really shine for your ball club. And talking about shining for ball clubs, we do just want to do a quick breakdown. I am going to show you guys a little bit how I kind of imagine the team is going to lay itself out. As you can see, right field, Adolis Garcia, center field, Luis Robert Jr., Austin Hayes in left. Depending on third base, we could have Nick Senzel or Emmanuel Rivera. I don't really know why they fudged Jackson Holiday right in between. I know it's an overall thing, but I don't really like it. Brandon Crawford, Jackson Holiday, they are going to be platooning shortstop, where Senzel Rivera will be platooning third. So the left side of the infield, a lot of platooning action, a lot of stuff going on over there. Ezekiel Duran is going to have majority of his time playing second base, unless maybe Holiday or someone kind of starts struggling on the fielding. We could always move Holiday to second, but we're not getting into that conversation right now. First base is Joey Gallo. Pretty much going to be the only guy that's going to be playing there, so we got to try to do our best to keep Joey healthy. And Eddie Rosario is more than likely going to be the DH, not the best fielder. Luis Capusano and Jose Trevino are going to be the two backstops as it stands right now. And I'm not going to get into all of them, but if you guys want to, there's the bullpen over on the right. You can pause it. You can look at it. We got guys like Liam Hendricks, Jorge Lopez, Jesse Chavez, Graham Ashcraft, Taj Bradley, Marco Gonzalez, Jose Quintana, Josh Taylor, Dublin Feltman, and Ben Joyce. So yeah, a whole bunch of guys, whole bunch of fun guys right there to talk about. I said I wasn't going to talk about them. We talked about him. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a couple more things we are going to talk about. Just a couple. First one, this one's an exciting one. We did make a trade, okay? I know. You didn't even see any gameplay. Why am I already making trades? Listen, there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to set up. There's a lot of stuff you guys are probably already commenting down in the comments, like, why'd you do this? Why don't you have these guys? Your bullpen's horrible. There's no tertiary third catcher in case someone gets hurt. We're covering all that. Don't you worry. So this trade's going to talk about that. We bring relief pitcher Dory Moretta and right fielder, 21 overall, B potential, 61 overall. Okay, 21. Nice young guy in Owen Casey, right fielder. And Dory Moretta, who's like a nice middle of the bullpen type guy. He's not like a setup guy, but he's going to be a nice guy to probably eat innings for us. Also a Pittsburgh Pirate, now turned Knothole gang, is kind of the deal with that. I guess he was technically an Oriole right here, but neither here nor there on that one. But that is going to be the first trade of the day, and that is right. I said first trade because we do have another one coming up here, and that is this one right here, talking about it. Dane Myers and Neville Boger. Don't worry about them names. They're not important. The important one's that one right over there on the right, Ben Rortvet. He is a former New York Yankee, technically former Blue Jay. He is a highly touted defensive catcher, somebody that I really wanted to see potentially shine for us. Now again, probably not going to start the season in the majors. He has a lot to work on as far as his back goes, but that defense is there. This is a major league ready defender. He has the arm for it. He can field the ball pretty well. I mean, this is definitely a guy that we want to take a look at. He's only 26 too, so plenty of years to really try to develop this guy still. Would like to hold on to him, but I was excited to be able to get him. Again, it's not the craziest thing, but right after you look at it, it makes things look a little bit easier for the team, a little less stressful, because if someone like Capisano, Trevino gets hurt, I don't have to go the whole way down to the depths in AAA or AA, pull someone up that is absolutely not ready. At least if the bat's not ready, we can kind of have like a Austin Hedges-esque catcher where he's very good defensively, can kind of call the game, but not really provide that offense. I know that might have sounded like a random shot at him. I wasn't trying to hurt Austin Hedges' feelings. Don't worry about it. Next guy talking about it, Max Fried, the ace of the team. Now, why are we going to talk about Max Fried? Yes, he's going to be the ace of the team, but if you guys do know, MLB right now, he only has a 1-year contract left. So, what do we do with a guy like that only has 1 year left? That is kind of what we're going to talk about. So we're moving things along. We are going to talk about the contract that we signed right here in front of us. We gave him 2 years, averaging $16.3 million a year. However, we backloaded that. So as we take a look at that backloaded contract, it really laid itself out very nice for us. $15 million is going to be paid to him in the 2024 season. That was already the set contract the Braves were going to be giving him, or at least the game give him. Now we're going to be paying him in 2025 that same exact price at 15, and then in 2026 we're hoping he's going to be developed a little bit more to where the incentive of bumping that contract up to $17.5 million is going to be very sensible. Things like that are very good, very nice, very happy with it, and that is pretty much, for the most part, a lot of the majority of what we're going to be doing in this franchise. Now, finally, we're going to talk about a couple things. In the next episode, we are going to be doing a spring training game. Look at the rotation right now. This is our spring training rotation. This is not going to reflect, I repeat, this is not going to reflect the opening day roster. These are the guys that are competing for that 4th and 5th spot in the rotation. Any of those guys in the starting rotation right now could be your 4 or 5 pitchers in the season. All the other guys that we listed, Gonsolin, Lorenzen and Fried are all guaranteed roster slots. We are not going to, at any point in time, get rid of those guys. Okay? Okay. Now, if Taj Bradley, Paul Skeens, Marco Gonzalez, Graham Ashcraft, or Griffin Canning all do well, guess what? They are making the team. Point blank, simple. That's what we want, and that is what we are going to get. Now, with those pitchers, it is important to mention we don't have a good pitching coach. But don't worry. As we do, we're handling it. We ended up signing Anthony Cisneros to a 1-year, $1.1 million deal, hoping we can have our pitchers develop. We got guys like Paul Skeens. We got guys like, oh my God, I can't think of his name, and he was just in front of us, Taj Bradley. We got those very highly touted, respectful prospect pitchers. I want them to have a good pitching coach. This is going to give them +1 velocity, +1 hits, or home run per 9, hit per 9, and walks per 9. So Cisneros is really going to be a good developmental pitcher. I think this is going to be a guy that is definitely going to help the team. And also, I do want to mention, he is not the only guy that ended up getting swapped around in this. We do have Sandy Alomar Jr., who did have 2 years left, but don't worry, I ate this up. We swallowed this, and we ended up moving on from Sandy. I did not like the -2, -3s. I don't like the big negative numbers, so I like to try to keep my team always in the positives, and that is why Andres Knothole is going to be the new first base coach for the season. He gives +1 fielding, +1 durability, +1 arm accuracy, and +2 speed to everybody that he will affect in the season. So very, very nice for Knothole to be that guy for us. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do think that is going to wrap up today's video. We've been talking a lot. We've been getting excited. That is going to be the intro into the Knothole gang. Thank you guys so much for peeking over the fence, hanging out with us today, and hopefully we're going to be playing some baseball in the next episode. We're going to be getting some spring training ball. We're going to be talking about some prospects. We're going to be talking about some baseballs going over the walls. You guys know it. You guys love it. If you guys did enjoy today's video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more amazing content, because only you, that is right, only you can make a difference for today's channel, and your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.